Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. My name is Ajda and I do videos on luxury handbags, mid-range handbags, all the handbags. If you like that kind of thing, please subscribe to my channel and click on the notification bell so that you receive alerts whenever I upload new videos. With that, today we're going to be talking about what's new in this season from some of the major luxury fashion brands that we know and love. What I'm going to be looking for in particular are the seasonal bags that have a classic style to them. So they're not necessarily part of their classic lines like Chanel has their classic flap, but they could be worn for many years to come and stand the test of time. I'm looking for those pieces that ultimately create some versatility and might be at a better price point for the classic look, especially when you consider the classic flap from Chanel that has had insane price increases over the years. There are many luxury houses out there. I'm going to go through some of my favorites. We're going to look at Celine, Chanel, Dior, and Prada. If there are others that you want to see, definitely let me know. I just think that it's really helpful to see all of the new in items in a comprehensive video like this. Hopefully you find it helpful and time-saving. Okay, so we're going to start with Celine, and the first bag that caught my eye was the Teen Garance. And this particular color is just gorgeous. It is labeled as dark brown. It has sort of like this reddish hue to it, so almost burgundy, but not quite. And I love just how much more feminine it looks as compared to the classic Triomphe that is crossbody. So if you like a little bit more of the feminine aspect, this bag would be really good. It has a shoulder strap, as you can see here, but it's not adjustable. For me, patent leather is always something that I'm a little nervous about. I'm more worried about scratches and how to get rid of them than I am necessarily about like fingerprint smudges. If you have oily hands, if you're using lotions, if you have makeup on your hands, it can get pretty dirty pretty quickly. So just being mindful to wipe it often right after you use it is going to be important. But if you're comfortable with patent, then I think this is definitely one to look at. I mean, it's really gorgeous. It also comes in black. It's just a very sophisticated look and would definitely stand the test of time. It also comes in this bicolor, black and ivory, and this interesting Vichy print. This is not fabric or textile. This is patent leather as well. This gives me Emily in Paris vibes. Yeah, it's definitely Emily in Paris vibes. This bag is $4,100 in the US, and in Europe it is 3,400 euros. So the next bag, the Chain Bissas Tallulah. There is another Bissas which was more squarish, but it had the curved bottom. This one is more rectangular, and it has this larger chunky chain detail, which I think makes it a statement bag for evenings. You could potentially wear it during the day as well, but in my lifestyle, I would see it more as an evening bag. I think it would look really pretty on the shoulder. Also, you could take that chain strap and wrap it around your wrist, and it kind of looks like a bracelet jewelry type detail. The only issue, once again, is that it's patent leather. If anyone has found a way to make patent work in their everyday lifestyle, if you've ever gotten scratches and you found a way to remove them, please do share. I don't know how to wear patent and not be worried and not scratch it. This is definitely a gorgeous style. It is $3,350 in the US and 2,600 euros in Europe. Now, the next bag that caught my eye was the large and was Cuir Triomphe bag. This hobo style is a great everyday bag, and I think it would be great for travel in particular because You could travel with it to location, but you could also use it as your day bag when you're walking around. It is 15 inches. I think it would be able to fit a 13-inch laptop. The other thing that I really like about this is the leather. It's pebbled leather, so very hard wearing. And the reason why I really like it for travel is that the logo on it is very subtle and it's just on one side. If you find yourself in an area where you don't feel comfortable exposing a luxury designer handbag, you could flip it over and then you'd have the other side, which is completely clean. So I do think that this makes this bag very functional for different situations. It could be used for work, could be used for travel, just a great everyday errand bag as well. The strap is adjustable, so you can wear it longer as a crossbody or you can wear it on your shoulder. So definitely a really great piece in my opinion. This bag is $37.50 in the US and it is 3,100 euros in Europe. So next up we have Chanel. There are some very interesting pieces here, and I would say there are a good number of twists on the classic bags that they've had in their line. So I'm actually really excited to share some of them with you because a good number of them are at a much better price point than, say, the classic flap, but they are styles that will stand the test of time. So let's walk through them. First up, we have this mini flap bag with top handle, and I'm loving this bag. To me, this bag is like the business affinity came together with the trendy CC and had a baby. The business affinity has the pocket in the front, whereas this one doesn't have that. So it's not as bulky. It has the larger quilting like the trendy CC does, but without the plates on the top part of the bag. So I think that's also what makes this like the perfect child. It can be worn in multiple ways because it has the top handle. It also has the crossbody strap. You could wear it as like an everyday bag, maybe in the evenings as well. This particular bag, I believe, only comes in this dark beige color, which is a gorgeous color if you decide that you want to look at a top handle bag from Chanel. This is definitely a good option. This is $5,700 in the US. In Europe, it is 5,500 euros. The next bag that caught my eye was the small shopping bag. It kind of reminds me of the Louis Vuitton Alma bag, just less wide at the bottom. I love the chain detail on the handles, and just the shape of the bag has a very vintage vibe to it. It also has a zipper. I prefer to have the zipper. This way I feel like my items are more secure in the bag. It has a small logo on the side, and it has the leather on the strap, which I think is really great so that it doesn't dig into your skin. I think it's great for petites as well because it's pretty narrow, so it doesn't stick out on your side when you're wearing it. If you're looking for a crossbody bag from Chanel that is going to stand the test of time but isn't necessarily the classic mini flap, then I would definitely go for this. And I also think that that vintage style will always be in fashion. All of these styles that we're seeing these days are very cyclical, so I feel like this will never go out of style. Now this bag in the US is $5,000, and in Europe it is 4,800 euros. The bag also comes in these tweed and fabrics. I personally am not a fan of this particular combination. It might even look a little bit like a toy bag, to be honest. It just doesn't do it for me. Now, the next bag that I saw is a little bit more on the dressy side, very similar to the other top handle that we looked at, except that this top handle has the chain detail, which Chanel is known for. I think it's really elegant. I love the shine on the leather as well. If you want something that's just a little different than a classic mini flap, and if you like the top handle as well. This runs for $6,100 in the US, and it is 5,900 euros in Europe. Now, this bag is a hobo bag, and I just love the simplicity of this, honestly. I think this could be worn during the day. I think it can be worn at night. I think it is kind of like that perfect size, and you can easily get in and out of it. It is kind of like a pouch with a chain strap on it. It keeps it very fresh, very interesting. It closes with the turn lock. So there's no zipper or anything like that, but there is a way to keep your things secure. It has the logo at the top, the classic Chanel quilting, and that's it. So I do think that this bag can be worn day, night. It doesn't have an adjustable strap. It really can only be worn on the shoulder, or you can carry it in the hand and you can wrap the chain around your wrist like a bracelet. I think it's a gorgeous style. This bag is $5,400 in the US, and in Europe it is 5,200 euros. Now, the last bag you'll have seen in my fall preview video, where I did a little bit of a preview of the collections at Chanel and Bergdorf's, and this bag caught my eye. It makes me think of the late 80s and 90s styles, and also the Diana bag. What I love about this bag is that the strap can be doubled and can be worn on the shoulder, or it can be worn crossbody, perhaps. I don't know how long the strap is, but it can be worn lengthwise along your body or as a shoulder bag. And then I really love this patent detail along the edge. I think it just gives the bag some extra pizzazz. It makes it look different than the classic flap, but it is still a classic. So if you're looking for something that isn't as common, that's not seen as often, I think this style is gorgeous. This is proof that vintage styles do come back. On top of that, it is at a much better price point than the current classic flaps today. The classic flaps now start at $10,000 and go up depending on the size. This particular bag here is $6,200 in the US, and in Europe it is 6,000 euros. So I would definitely consider this. I always like to find something that's a little bit different than what everyone else has, and I think that this is a great option. Okay, so next up we have Dior, and I'm really liking some of the innovation that they've had with some of their classic designs. I think is going to actually be a game changer, because some of their classics are now in more interesting, contrasting designs, and just make it a little bit more different and modernizes it a little bit. So the first thing that I noticed was their Dior book tote. They basically have an all leather version, which I think is what a lot of people have wanted. I never really gravitated towards the book tote originally because of that fabric. I just didn't find it versatile to use in my everyday life. I thought it would be great as maybe a beach bag or a vacation bag or by the pool. I just never saw it as something I would wear like in the city. An all leather version, I definitely think will accommodate more everyday situations. It can be used year round for work, for running errands. I just think that it's a more versatile everyday bag. I like that it doesn't have Christian Dior written on it like the textile book totes do. This is definitely more subtle, but it is in the recognizable maquillage design. So I think that this was a really clever upgrade to the book totes. It also comes in the medium size. I definitely love this color. It also comes in black, in white. Oh, this powder beige is really pretty. And this latte, I like that latte. The one thing that I don't think I could see working for me is the fact that it's still just a very open bag. I do wish that it had some sort of closure. For example, the vintage Lady Dior's in the medium size used to have like this zipper that closed it up. And even today it has the flap. I do think that it is a security risk to kind of just leave it open like that. But again, I think it's just one of those things where if you're comfortable having a wide open tote, then it's totally okay. And if you wear it on the crook of the arm, it's in front of you, like it should be fine. It does come with a crossbody strap, which I believe the original book totes don't have. This is gonna generally be a heavier bag with it being all leather. So it would make sense that you would also have a leather strap to be able to carry it on your shoulder if the crook of your arm gets tired. I think they have done a great job with the all leather design. This bag is $3,600 in the small size. In Europe, it is 3,200 euros. The next upgrade, if you will, that they did was with the Dior saddle. I like the two-tone direction that they've gone in with the saddle bag. And they've also done it with their 30 Montaigne, which I will show you in just a little bit. If you're looking for the saddle bag, but want something that's a little bit different from the traditional saddle bag, I think that this option is really great. Ooh, I love that detail on the CD. They've made it also ivory. Yeah, that's gorgeous. This bag here is $4,500 in the US, and in Europe it is 3,800 euros. They also have it in the traditional oblique. I really love the silver hardware with this combination. If you're looking at the saddle bag and you want something just a little bit different than what you've seen out there, I think this is a great option. I like the coming together of the oblique prints with the soft leather. It just freshens it up a little bit. I also believe that having this leather flap here, I mean, your hands probably touch that part of the bag most often. And so now it's just a lot easier to keep clean, in my opinion. Next up, we have the 30 Montaigne bag. I personally love this style. The shape works for me more. They have done the same thing here like they did with the saddle bag. I think this gives you the best of both worlds in terms of logo and statement, along with smooth, minimal leather. Together, it really looks beautiful. And again, I love the silver hardware here. I do think that it gives it a more fresh twist to it. If you're looking for a bag that can be used in multiple environments and different occasions, silver tends to be a little bit more lenient in that regard than gold, which I think always looks luxurious, glamorous. In this case, this silver really works well. This bag runs for $4,000 in the US, and in Europe it is 3,300 euros. Okay. Last but not least, we have Prada, and I think Prada this year has nailed it with suede and this beautiful cocoa brown color. I saw one of their bags, which I'll go through in a minute, in this brown suede, and it just felt so good. I like this medium size bag with the top handle, and it does also come with a strap. What I found interesting here was this belt detail. I'd be curious if you have this bag or a similar bag with this belt buckle design detail, if you've been able to play around with it and give the bag like different looks and whatnot. I'd also be curious to know if this belt is removable, because that'd be cool to get kind of like a belt and bag in one that you could wear together or separately. This is a gorgeous bag for fall. You could wear it to work, you could wear it for just everyday use. The handles are smooth leather. You do have a little bit of branding, but it's kind of hidden behind the belt. It looks very cozy, which I'm all about the cozy vibes for fall and winter. This bag retails for $5,200 in the US, and in Europe, it retails for 4,200 euros. Now, this bag I'm about to show you is what I saw at Bergdorf's and kind of like took my breath away. There's no other way to say it. I love the style of this bag, let alone like the suede. The suede is absolutely gorgeous, but I love this shape, and the size is definitely very convenient for me, being a petite person. When I tried it on in store, I just really liked that it wasn't too big or too small. It was sort of like the perfect everyday bag, but I felt like I could wear it in the evenings if I wanted to. The strap itself is got a very nice drop to it. It came down to like maybe here for me. So if you have a thick jacket that you're wearing in the winter or fall, this will fit nicely still over your shoulder. The zipper is very convenient. Like, I again prefer to have zippers living in the city. The other thing that I really liked about it was that the handles are smooth leather, so it's just a lot easier to maintain and clean. But yeah, this bag, I mean, please let me know if you get it. I think if there were any suede bags that I would own, like, this is a top contender, so we'll see what happens. I also just love how like soft and cozy it looks. It feels luxurious. I can tell you that immediately I walked into the store, Prada was right there, and this is the first bag I saw, and I just went, and I had to just touch it and look at it and try it on. It was definitely like gorgeous, even in person, as it is on the website. So definitely worth looking into. In the US, this retails for $31.50, and in Europe, it goes for 2,400 euros. Now, if you're wanting this style but not in suede, it does come in a pebbled leather as well. I really like when gray and taupe come together with gold. It's like cool meeting warm, and it creates this just beautiful marriage of the two colors, for lack of a better term. Suede is typically more fall and winter friendly. If you want this style bag but in a leather that you can wear year round, this is definitely a really good option. I love this caramel color, and you can tell that this leather is very durable. It is a stunning bag that will stand the test of time. It will always have this like modern, sleek feel to it. I think it looks pretty in black too. Even more versatile, I think, for evening wear. So yeah. Basically, I love this bag. The shape, the zipper, a great shoulder drop. All in all, this is a really great bag. The next bag, the re-edition, has definitely been around now for a little while. But what I like about this bag in particular is the best of both worlds coming together, with some leather trim, but still have the weather resistance that the nylon offers. If you want something that isn't black, you have this really nice beige color. This bag retails for $23.50 in the US and 1,900 euros in Europe. I hope you enjoyed this video on some of the new in collections that have come in across Celine, Chanel, Dior, Prada. I'll link all of the bags that I talked about today in the description below. Let's talk about some of your favorites. If you own any of these already, if you're looking to add any to your wish list, and what it is that you like about them, I'd love to know your thoughts in the comments below. Thank you for watching this video. If you liked it, please give it a like, subscribe to my channel, and click on the notification bell so that you receive alerts whenever I upload new videos. I'll see you on the next one.